Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely incredible story of struggle, resilience, and ultimately triumph. It's a journey that stretches across continents and generations, a story of how indentured laborers rose to become presidents. Okay, so picture this. The president of a South American country, Suriname, is taking his oath of office. But he's not speaking Dutch or English. He's speaking Sanskrit. That man is President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, and his story, well, it really begins about 150 years ago. I mean, that's not just some random, surprising fact. It's the end results of an absolutely extraordinary journey. So the big question is, how on earth did this happen? How did the descendants of laborers rise to lead entire nations? Well, to get the answer, we've got to go back. To really get a grip on their success, first, we have to understand who the Girmitiyas actually were. You know, the whole story really starts with a piece of paper, a contract. The English word was agreement, but to the Indian laborers, it sounded like Girmit. So that's what they called it. And the people who signed it, well, they became known as the Girmitiyas. So why did this even happen? Let's look at the history here. In 1834, slavery is abolished. Suddenly, the colonial powers are panicking. They need a new source of cheap labor for their huge plantations. And where do they look? They look to India, which was under British rule at the time. It became the new source. And the journey from India? Well, that was the first, and for so many, the deadliest part of the whole ordeal. Think about this. On February 26, 1873, the very first ship headed to Suriname, the Lala Rook, left Kolkata. It was carrying 410 laborers, all crammed into a space built for way fewer people. This journey could take months, and it was just horrific. They called it crossing the Pani, the black water. And that term, it meant everything. It meant losing your caste, your home, your entire identity. The conditions were so brutal, with disease just running rampant, that a staggering number of people just didn't survive. But you know, out of all that shared trauma, something pretty remarkable happened. All those old lines, caste, religion, where you were from, they just dissolved. They became Jahaji Bhai, ship brothers, a new, unbreakable bond forged in the darkness of that ship, and it became the foundation for everything that came next. Of course, their struggle didn't just end when they got off the boat. Life on the plantations was just as harsh. But through it all, they clung to their culture like a lifeline. And this right here is where you see their true spirit. I mean, they're facing these absolutely brutal conditions day in and day out, but they refused to let their heritage die. They carried sacred texts with them, they organized community gatherings called baithkas to sing and pray, and they kept their traditions going. It was their anchor in the storm. So, after 5 long years, their contracts were finally up, and they had this huge choice to make. They could go back to an India that was still under British rule, or they could stay. The deal was, if you stayed, you got a small plot of land and a little bit of cash. And you know what? Most of them chose to stay. They took that little piece of earth and started to build new lives, right from scratch. And that foundation of community, of culture that they built, it laid the groundwork for an unbelievable legacy. It's what took them from the sugarcane fields to the global stage. Fast forward a few generations, and the results are just astonishing. The descendants of these laborers, people who were treated as less than human, have risen to the absolute highest offices in countries like Mauritius, Guyana, and of course, Suriname. And it wasn't just about political success either. They actually blended the languages they brought with them, like Bhojpuri and Awadhi, and created something new, Sarnami Hindi. And today, it's an officially recognized language in Suriname. I mean, what a powerful testament to keeping your culture alive. So now, today, the story of the Girmitiyas is finally getting the global attention it deserves, and it's inspiring a whole new generation. There's this really important movement happening right now to reframe how we see them. Instead of just calling them laborers, people are calling them karmashil, which means diligent, skilled workers. And this is so important because it honors the fact that they were often chosen for their skills, and they literally built nations with their own 2 hands. People are actively embracing this legacy now. You've got governments creating databases so families can trace their roots, universities studying their history, and global conferences bringing everyone together. And this really matters, because this isn't just their history. It's this shared global history of human resilience. So let's end with this thought. This incredible journey from the sugarcane fields to presidential palaces, it's just such a powerful lesson, isn't it? It shows us that even when you're facing unimaginable hardship, your culture can be this unbreakable source of strength. And your heritage, well, it can be the foundation for an absolutely triumphant future.